Hey, this is Dr. Tyler Coles from Ortho Boost, and the topic for today is we're going to be talking about some of the most common marketing mistakes I see orthodontists make. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the like button, but let's get into it. All right, so we're going to be talking about 3 big mistakes that most people make with their online marketing, with their digital marketing. So the first one is using stock images on your website and social media posts. So if you go look at 20 orthodontic websites, most likely you're gonna see about 4 or 5 models repeated over and over. So if you're like me, you've probably seen this little girl in the glasses lots of times. So we used to use her in our ads until I started seeing the same image, the same model used on different websites, used on different orthodontic ads. And so we moved away from using stock images altogether. So the reason is there have been actual studies done where they would do a website, one with a stock image, very stock imagey, you can see here on the left, and then one with an actual person that works at that company. They found every single time almost that the image from the person that actually works there is always gonna outperform the stock image. Having this level of authenticity always basically outperforms having a professional stock model. So if you go look at your competitor's website, if you go look at your website, you're probably gonna see a lot of stock images. Now go check out my website, you will not find a single stock image on the entire website. So we've made a point of going through, and anywhere we had a stock image before, we swapped it out with an actual person of either our staff members, a doctor, or a patient. And so we've seen a huge increase in conversion. For example, this is a website. I just pulled this off the internet, random website. You can see first thing you see is a giant stock image of someone that isn't their patient, and this is obviously not their patient. If you compare that to some of the websites we've built, this is the actual doctor with an actual patient in their actual office. So which one, if you were someone looking for an orthodontist, would you trust more? The office with the stock image that you just got off of a stock image website, or one with the actual doctor that you can see that you're gonna actually go in and talk to? So every time that we've done a test, every time that many other people have done tests, the actual image will outperform the stock image. So if you look at professional marketers, not just orthodontists, but people that do marketing for a living, you'll find that when they run an ad, they almost never use a stock image. They'll use an actual image. So if they're advertising a marketing event, they'll take snapshots from the event. They don't even have to look super professional. They don't have to look, superposed or produced. Just a candid image almost always outperforms the professional looking image. So don't get too hung up with the fact that I need to have a professional photographer, we need to have lights, we need to be all dressed up and have our makeup on. That's really not necessary. Just getting images taken from your cell phone, decent lighting is almost gonna work out better than something that's super produced. All right, so that's an easy one to fix. So if you haven't yet, go to your website, go look at the most common pages, your home page, your services page, team page, and see what images I have. And anytime that you have a stock image, circle it and then make a plan to replace it. So what I've done in my own practice when we were doing this is I would make a list of all the images we would need, and then I would send out an email blast to all my staff members and tell them we're gonna have a scavenger hunt. I'd say, we need a picture of a doctor with a kid in braces. We need a picture with an assistant with an adult in braces. We need a picture of a patient holding an Invisalign box. And anyone who can get these images for me by the end of the day will get a $5 Starbucks gift card. And magically, we got the images taken. The staff members would keep their phones in their pocket, and they look for chances to get these images. So this is not as hard as it sounds. It can be done in a day or two. All you have to do is go look at what images you need, recruit your staff, give them a little incentive, make it a game, and then you can usually get this done, wrapped up in short order. All right, next mistake I see orthodontists make all the time is not having a unique selling proposition. So what is unique selling proposition? It's something that makes you unique over all other choices. So obviously as an orthodontist, people know that you do braces and you probably do Invisalign. So if that's the only thing you mention on your website, what is it about you doing it that makes you different from everybody else they may choose? So what you'll often see on websites is, at whatever orthodontics, we treat our patients like family. We care for you. We take the time to make sure your teeth are really, well done. So anytime that you look at that, you think, what's the alternative? That we don't care about you, that we don't try to make, do quality work, that we try to be mean. So basically everybody who goes to an orthodontist is expecting that their teeth are gonna get straight. People are generally gonna be nice. And so if that's all you're leading with, you really aren't separating yourself from your competitors. So things that I would recommend you don't use for your unique selling proposition is that the fact that you do quality treatments. Because again, that's expected if you're an orthodontist, you're a professional, you should do quality work. Next thing I find is not super effective at making you different from the others is advertising your technology. I see a lot of doctors do this where they talk about what scanner they have, what aligner they use, what bracket they use. Most patients don't really care. They just want the final result. And so advertising that you use X, Y, and Z bracket, doesn't mean anything to them. And so that's not something that's really gonna set you apart. And the last thing, like I said, don't advertise that you're nice. That's something that's, again, should be a given, and it's not something that's really gonna set you apart. So what can you use for your unique selling propositions? Things that we use over and over are our years of experience. This is something that, again, because we're talking about we have 20 years of experience, even if your competitor has more, if they don't mention it, this still sets you apart. Other things is if you've received any awards, even if the patient doesn't know what that award is, still list it because it gives you proof and gives you authority. You can definitely use your reviews. If you have good patient reviews, just go grab those, put them on your website. You can use these in ads. This is something that, again, is unique to you. Only that review applies to you. And so it's something that sets you apart from your competition. Next is leading with affordability. So I find this is one of the most effective ways to separate ourselves from our competition. Most people in orthodontics, we kind of have the same general pricing structure, but most of the time orthodontists won't actually talk about what their payment plans are or how much braces cost. That's something that for some reason we keep it a secret and we try to surprise them when they come in the consultation room. We are super open about ours and we tell people how much braces cost on our website. We tell them how much their lowest down payment and lowest monthly payment is. That way, if it's somebody that can't afford what our prices are, they don't actually come into the office, which is fine. If we're too expensive for somebody, they're better suited to going to a different office. But for those, generally speaking, they know braces cost anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000. They know braces are gonna be like $100 to $200 a month. If you're anywhere in those ranges, go ahead and list the pricing because they just need to know okay, that's something I can afford. If you are more affordable than your competitors, by all means, make sure that that's front and foremost and that you can lead with that as well. Next thing you can lead with is convenience. If you have late evening hours, if you have early morning hours, if you work on the weekends, definitely list those. Those are things that people are looking for, and most people don't talk enough about them if they do it. And next, use social proof. So use pictures of your patients, use before and after images. Use the things that, again, only apply to you because those are things that will actually make you unique amongst all your competitors. And lastly, use your story. So if you have a unique story, again, try to make this entertaining. Don't just tell them which schools you went to and where you were born. Try to make it a little bit unique, a little entertaining, and that's gonna go a long way with setting you apart. So here's just a few examples of some of the websites we've made for offices we work with. So you can see we lead with how many patients we've treated, how many 5-star reviews we have. We lead with affordability, if it's a certain monthly payment. And then again, if you're a top 1% Invisalign provider, lead with that as well, if that's something that you want to attract more Invisalign patients. Pretty much everybody has decent 5-star reviews, so make sure those are listed on your website. Lead with your story, lead with you, an image of the doctor, because people ultimately are choosing orthodontic practices based on the provider many times. So if you keep yourself hidden, that's not something that's gonna win patients over. So lead with your story, and that's gonna go a long way. All right, last mistake I see a lot, and this one may be a little controversial, is using organic social media to try and grow your practice. So most orthodontists I talk to when they say my office, we're trying to do a lot on Instagram or we're trying to do a lot on TikTok. Most of the time that means that someone in the office has a cell phone and they go and take pictures or make videos and they put it on Instagram or TikTok, and then that's it. They hope something happens, but there's really no strategy behind it. Most of the time you're competing on organic TikTok and Instagram with professional content creators. So people that do this for a living, and the fact that we're trying to, in a moment, recreate something that's gonna compete with them with the algorithms is probably gonna be a difficult task. So for my practice, if you go look at our social media accounts, there's very little content. It's not something that I lean on at all for new patients. So what I find works a lot better is actually using paid advertising. Because when we post something on social media, we hope and pray that people in our market are gonna see it, they might share it with their friends, and then ultimately they'll make that decision to go to our website, call our office. So again, there's about 7 actions between we post something to social media to someone getting in the office for a consultation. That's leaving a lot of things up to chance and hopes and dreams that this Facebook algorithm is gonna somehow deliver your piece of content to the right person at the right time and they're gonna ultimately figure out how to get into your office without you telling them how to do it. For me, I'd much rather use a paid ad, say I wanna deliver it to this person at this time, here's the message, I want them to click on this button, I want them to go to this landing page. On this landing page, I'm gonna tell them exactly how to schedule an appointment, and then we're gonna follow up with them right away. So again, we leave almost nothing to chance, and then we put a little bit of money behind it too to make sure that that actually gets delivered to the right person. Doing organic social media, you're just hoping that it shows up in front of the right person, but there's nothing guaranteed. There are orthodontists who are amazing at organic social media content creation. If that's you, keep doing what you're doing. But if you're like me, if this is not your thing, I would not try to go and become the next big orthodontist on TikTok, because the odds are stacked against you that you're gonna get any traction. But if you go into paid ads, you have a very good chance that it's going to give you a profitable return and actually get growth for your practice. So how do you do paid ads on social media? So the big thing that we try to do is create content that looks organic on the platform. So again, I'm not creating videos for TikTok just to post on TikTok, but our ads may look like videos you'd see on TikTok, but they still have that message to get them to take action. If you look at many of the ads we use, they look like images or videos that you would see on the platform, but there's a distinct call to action, and that we're actually paying to show these to the right people at the right time, guiding them along in that journey. So we're not leaving anything to chance, and we are being very intentional with doing paid social media that looks organic, but we spend very little time, money, or effort on actually doing organic social media. So some things you could go do right now is go to your website and, like I said, make a list of every stock image you have on that website, and then go get a plan to replace them all. So go make a scavenger hunt, make a game out of it with your staff, and go see if you can replace every stock image on your website with an actual image of patients. And when you get these images, don't just lose them. These are gonna be your future ads if you start doing paid social media ads. So make sure to keep these in a folder in a safe place where people know where they're at. And these are something you can use over and over and over in your marketing. Next, go strategize what your unique selling proposition is. So go figure out how many years you've been in practice, how many patients you've treated. Go get some of your best patient reviews. Usually you can get like 6 to 9 reviews, and that's gonna be enough for your website. And then once you've gathered all this content about what makes you unique, make sure that is actually on your website as well, that you're leading with that in your ads as well as your website. And lastly, if you haven't yet, I would consider looking into doing a paid social media strategy. So that is something that we do here at Ortho Boost, where we create content in ads and images and videos. Many times it's content that our clients provide for us because, again, we like to use content that actually comes from their office, but then we repurpose that content into ads and serve them on the platform where their potential patients are. And that's something that we do start to finish for many of our clients. We make sure that the websites are optimized for conversion, make sure the ads are optimized for the platform. So if that's something that's interesting to you, definitely reach out to us. We'd be happy to discuss further with you. There's a link in the description where you can schedule a free consultation, and we'll talk about the different services we have to offer and find out if it's a good fit for your practice. So hopefully this was a good lesson on common mistakes that orthodontists make. The good news is in orthodontics, most of your competitors are doing all these mistakes. So if you can clean these up, it's gonna set you apart immediately. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and we'll talk to you soon.